Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a preview debate between Trump and Biden because as we all know, we have the debate literally happening tomorrow on the day this video gets uploaded on. We're going to be going over basically my predictions and my expectations going forward and what I expect to see in this exact debate on some of these major important issues. But before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed and click the bell so you don't miss out on my content. Also, we have memberships. You can find the link to that in the description section. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, press the like button. So let's begin with the first issue or topic for my expectations or predictions. So with regards to inflation, I still think Biden he would probably say inflation has been significantly reduced all the way down from 7% to 3%. All-time low during Biden's presidency. He's probably going to say something like that. And then meanwhile, for Donald Trump on this issue, I do think Trump would be on the attacking side. And don't forget that when it comes to debates, the challenger, this case being Donald Trump, usually wins the first one and the incumbent sitting president wins the second one. For example, back in 2020, Biden won the first debate, but Trump won the second. In 2012, Romney won the first, Obama won the second. And it goes back and keeps happening in history. And so I expect Trump to win the first, and maybe Biden can do better in the second, but I'm not quite sure if he's actually going to win the second because he's, let's just say, a different president than any other we had in recent time. You take a look at President Biden's job approval on this issue alone. He's underwater by net negative 24% in total from the RCP averages. The Economist and the YouGov, they say he's underwater by a net negative 26 points. And Fox News has him underwater by net negative 25. Yahoo News has him down by negative 28. Harvard Harris has him down by negative 18. A little bit with a left-leaning bias. And so these are historically bad numbers for any president, and it is losing numbers. His approval rating is below 40%, currently at 39, which actually surprisingly is actually higher than usual because it's usually at 38. But as for Donald Trump, I expect him to point out that people are probably poorer overall than where they were 4 years ago. For the economy, I expect Biden to talk about less people unemployed than there was 4 years ago under Donald Trump. And Biden should also talk about how there's quote-unquote job growth in this country, even though majority of them are probably the ones that were lost from COVID, which doesn't really count to begin with. So overall, Trump should probably attack Biden on this issue with regards to you're probably paying more than where you were 4 years ago. You probably can't afford the bills. You probably can't even afford a grocery store or even buying a house anymore. And I expect Trump to make all those claims. And also, Trump should attack Biden on the tax rates and say basically that, hey, Biden is increasing your tax significantly for whether you're the poor, rich, or the middle class. Doesn't really matter. All around, everyone is feeling the impact of Biden's high taxes. And Trump has made the claim that there's something called the Biden inflation tax rate or something like that along those lines. I don't know if I said that right. And that's for immigration or the border crisis. Joe Biden's job approval rating is at a negative 27%, according to the RCP average. He's down by 28 in a poll. He's down by 28 in a poll. He's down by 28 again, and then 28 again, and he's down by net negative 30. And obviously you have Harvard Harris, which is a Dem-leaning internal, shows him down by net negative 20, which is all disastrous, especially for an incumbent. So I do expect Trump to bring up that, quote-unquote, illegals are poisoning the blood of this country. And Biden's probably also going to have to attack instead of play defense because he's probably going to bring up the fact that Republicans in Congress blocked the border bill that would supposedly, according to Biden, secure the border or help it or whatever. So I do expect Biden to bring that up. He would probably say something along these lines. Donald Trump's MAGA Republican friends blocked the bill that would secure the border, so therefore, this is entirely Donald Trump's fault. And then on the other hand, I do think Donald Trump would bring up the fact that we would not have this mess if he did not reverse Donald Trump's border policies 4 years ago when Biden first stepped into office. Trump has publicly stated that he will bring up the murders or the killings by illegal immigrants in this country who have murdered people in the United States. For example, Laken Riley and a whole bunch of people. There's a lot of people that have been murdered by illegals. I can go on, and Donald Trump has stated that he will obviously talk about that and bring up those specific names. And obviously, I do expect Trump to talk about the fentanyl crisis. And by the way, I do also expect Donald Trump to bring up the fact that we have more illegal border crossings under the Biden administration more than any other. He is literally setting records. Now we move on to President Joe Biden's approval rating on the handling of the Israeli and Gaza conflict. So on this issue alone, according to the RCP average, Joe Biden's underwater by a net negative 30%. Horrible for him. He's down by 28 in a poll, 31, 33, and negative 28. And this exact issue alone is not helping him, especially with the youth vote, obviously, which can go in favor of Donald Trump. So I do expect Donald Trump to point out or bring up the fact that Joe Biden has a totally, quote-unquote, abandoned Israel. This is Donald Trump's words, by the way. And Joe Biden has indeed stopped aid to Israel, or he stopped sending weapons to them. But as for Joe Biden, I think he would have to play defense on this specific issue. He's probably going to say, like, oh, we still support Israel, but we also care for probably the people being killed in there. And also, I do expect Donald Trump to talk about the, hundreds or thousands of deaths happening in that region. But overall, Joe Biden is disapproval on this issue out of any other the most here. And keep in mind that Joe Biden is disapproval on this exact issue more than any other. So he's really going to have to be careful on what he says, because this could easily piss off a lot of people, especially the youth vote or people Gen Z, ages 18 to 29, especially in college campuses. You've been seeing the protests here. I also expect both Biden and Trump to bring that up as well. But overall, I think we can all agree that Donald Trump would 1000% be way more pro-Israel than Biden would be, obviously. And as for Ukraine and Russia, obviously, Donald Trump has stated, I expect him to say this at the debate, that he will 1000% stop the aid to Ukraine. He's going to stop the sending of the aid and weapons. I think he's going to totally abandon Ukraine, just how he said Biden abandoned Israel. I expect Biden to bring up the fact that Putin and Trump are buddies, and Putin hopes that Donald Trump would stop sending aid to Ukraine, so that way Putin can take all of its land. And I also expect Biden to bring up the fact that Donald Trump would literally hand Russia a free victory by stopping the aid to Ukraine, which would literally grant Russia to take all of Ukraine. And I expect Biden to say that literally Donald Trump wants Ukraine to lose the war. He might even say that, in my opinion, which I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But still, it's been clear that Donald Trump would fully abandon Ukraine, and he would also be harsh on NATO, because apparently they're not sending enough, money or support to Ukraine as much as the United States is. And basically, Donald Trump has said in the past that NATO is not paying their fair share, which goes to show you that he's probably going to abandon Ukraine, and that alone is a good attacking point for Biden, because he can literally say that Donald Trump is going to hand Russia a free victory because Trump loves Putin, and I expect all that good stuff to happen. So there you guys go. That's pretty much it. Those are my expectations and predictions on what is going to happen in the overall debate this Thursday. And we go back to the economy real quick. I also do expect Joe Biden will talk about the massive GDP growth that this country is basically seeing, and he's going to talk about, the skyrocketing GDP numbers. Donald Trump, I believe, would stick more to the inflation and, the prices overall, what you're paying, and basically majority of people in this country is actually living paycheck to paycheck. It's kind of a shocker. People making $200,000 a year are actually living paycheck to paycheck. Something I actually read. I don't know if that's true or not. But make sure you guys are subscribed and click the bell so you don't miss out on my content. Press the like button. We also have memberships. You can find a link to that in the description section. Give this video a thumbs up. That's pretty much it. Thank you everyone for watching, and let me know in the comment section down below, what are your expectations and opinions on the debate overall? What do you think is going to happen with your predictions? And do you agree with my takes? Why or why not?